Hello, and welcome back to episode number 28. Uh, Welcome to Life.EV, a podcast that dives into exploring values. I'm your host, Ajit Panicker, and I lead an air conditioning company, Nova, and Pure Blue, a tech startup in the air conditioning domain. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. for conversations that go beyond business growth, focusing on the values that fuel it. Let's embark on a journey to uncover our true purpose and how we can grow by enriching our lives. Welcome to Life.EV, where we explore values in life and business. And as always, I have with me Vivek Asrani. Hi, Vivek. How are you doing?
Hey Ajit, I'm well. How are you? Good to be back on your show.
Well, for all our viewers who are watching us for the first time, Vivek Asrani is the driving force behind Camo Fastener Company, a trailblazing company in the industrial fastener sector. What sets Vivek apart is his deep engagement with the exploration of values. It's now over 4 years he has dedicatedly penned his reflections on this topic every week. These insightful thoughts are accessible on his website, vivekasrani.com. Additionally, Vivek has authored the book One Day at a Time Reflections from Times of Silence, which further delves into his journey and insights. This thought provoking read is available on Amazon and his website, offering readers a chance to engage with his profound understanding of values and their role in both personal and professional lives. In today's episode of Life.EV, we are delving into the topic Give Till It Hurts. Over to you, Vivek. Let's hear on this reflection.
Ajit, giving to my mind is one of the most beautiful and powerful opportunities human beings. If we listen to our own self-talk, chances are we might find ourselves saying that I want to be rich, I want to be successful, I want to be happy, I want to have a good family, I want lots of friends, I want experiences, I want opportunities. Most of our life is lived answering to the question and addressing the question that what do I want? And we have millions of desires that keep manifesting themselves in our minds and then in reality. And most of our life is spent in fulfilling those desires and getting for ourselves what we want. Giving is really a paradigm of abundance, responsibility, and gratitude. Abundance because giving comes from realizing that what I am and what I have is not meant for collecting and hoarding, but is also meant for sharing with people around me. And that's when the whole attitude of giving and sharing with others gets into our life. And you'll find a lot of people who are of a giving nature, and it's not about having much, but it's about having the attitude of sharing what we have with those who may not be as fortunate as us, or even with just people around us. So it comes from a sense of abundance. And therefore, it's important, and I qualify giving by saying that giving is not about not having for ourselves. I mean, that is a complete misunderstanding. You can only give what you have. So if you have to write out a check of 100 rupees to help somebody, you need to have at least 100 rupees in your bank to be able to write out that check, right? So similarly, the sense of abundance comes not only with an attitude of abundance, but also we need to nourish ourselves, and therefore prosperity is a good thing because that is an enabler for us to give. The second aspect of giving is a sense of responsibility, that all of us are interconnected, that all of us, in a way, are dependent on each other. And there is an incumbent responsibility on us to reach out to those who are not as prosperous or not as well off as us. And it may not only be in terms of money. Okay, giving is a lot to do with also the emotional giving and not just the physical giving off. So it's a sense of responsibility also linked deeply with the fact that the wealth we have, we are trustees of that, we're not owners of that. And when we live with a sense of trusteeship, then we live with a sense of responsibility, we live then with a sense of interdependence, and we live with a sense of abundance, and then we live with a sense of giving. And the third is a sense of gratitude, because it allows us to take a step back and just feel grateful for the fact that we are the gateway through whom a lot of good can be done out there in the world, whether it be with our wealth and resources or whether it be with our time and just sometimes our thoughts. So, the abundance, responsibility, and gratitude are the three aspects which shape the whole paradigm of giving in us. The other dimension of giving, Ajit, is what Khalil Gibran had said, that we give but little when we give of our money. We truly give when we give of ourselves. Today, more than money, time is at a premium. It's relatively easier today to write out a check and help somebody, but how many of us are willing to actually take time out, and our willingness and ability to offer ourselves to be available to those who need us? And very often, people may not need our resources, they may just need our attention, they may need our time. And one big aspect of giving is also making ourselves available. And finally, I'd like to cap this question with quoting what Mother Teresa had said, Saint Teresa now, had said, and that is actually the title of the reflection, which is when she was once asked that how much should we give, and she said, "Give till it hurts." If you have 1,000,000 rupees in the bank and you give 100 rupees, yes, you've given, no doubt. But the significance, relevance, and the pain in that, if I may say that, is minuscule. It's not even relevant, right? Now, I'm not for a moment getting judgmental as to who gives how much and what is the right number. That's for each one of us to calibrate. But I think it's equally important to realize that let me stretch myself when I'm giving. Let me go out of my comfort zone when I'm giving, because maybe that is what may give comfort to someone who really needs it.
Amazing. So, Vivek, there are enough people who are doing philanthropy and always doing it on a consistent basis. So, when you say give it till it hurts, is just another version to just philanthropy, or there's something more than, or is it different from just philanthropy that everyone does?
See, philanthropy is an attitude, is a decision where one says that, look, there is a society from whom I have benefited so much, and therefore it is my responsibility, if I am in a fortunate situation, in whichever way, to give back to the world. Right? That's just putting it in very simple words. And they're interlinked. So, philanthropy is the attitude, giving is the physical process of actually stepping out and doing it. And this is where intent has to marry execution. Just being noble in our thoughts and saying, oh, it's a good thing to do these things, and I would one day like to. There is no one day. The time is now because there's enough need out there. But the beauty of this, and this has been my personal experience as well, if you just look at two of the most powerful elements in nature, the sun being the first, the most powerful force in nature, is constantly burning but is constantly giving of itself. The sun doesn't burn for itself, it is actually giving the light and the warmth to the entire world. The second element in nature we need to learn from is the element that gives us oxygen, and that's why we're all alive, and that's how powerful it is. And a tree is constantly giving, but the tree also nourishes itself while giving. So philanthropy is really just an attitude to say that, can I be that sun and the tree in somebody's life, where I give that light, that warmth, that oxygen, those fruits, and live in a manner where, yes, I'm nourishing myself, but I'm also sharing what I have. And here I'm reminded of, and I'm always guided by the three principles of Guru Nanak, where he had said, "Naam japo, kirat karo, vansh chakho." Remember the Lord, work hard, and the third, vansh chakho, is share in your prosperity with those who are not as fortunate as you. So giving is deeply linked with the attitude that whatever comes in my life is not mine, it is ours. And in what way can I share it?
Amazing. But Vivek, this also brings me to a question. I mean, how has giving, till it hurts, impacted your personal growth and worldview?
I think for me, I was very fortunate that I studied in Campion, so there were a lot of programs we did there and extracurriculars we were involved with, which allowed us to interact with sections of society that sensitized us, and made us a little more responsible in our own way. And then in Xavier's, whether it be the SSL, and then doing things for college. But I think really, Ajit, for me, the big uh, phase of my life would be when, along with a group of friends, we started a youth organization called AYBI, the Association of Youth for a Better India. I was all of 22 when we started, and just fresh out of college, still studying my law, but I'd already started working a few years ago. Now, that's the age where one starts shaping one's career, working hard and building. And I was part of a family business, so my job was to actually learn over there and grow that. And I found myself, along with these friends of ours, we would spend almost 30 to 40% of our time for the next 10 years running AYBI, uh, building, creating awareness, sensitizing the youth, and building a spirit of active citizenship in people to build a better country. I mean, we knew we're not going to change the world, and we weren't claiming to do so. But we said there is something we can all do, where we live, in our cities, in our areas, and to whatever extent. And we ran it successfully for almost 10 years. More than 500 people were active members. And we had more than, I think, about 3 or 5,000 affiliate members. And today, all of them are change agents wherever they are. Now, that hurt at one level because from the age of 23, 22, 23 till the age of 32, and 32 was our retirement age, by the way, I had spent almost 30 to 40% of my time and life in running this youth organization where I knew I had to forcibly retire because that is what we had written in the constitution. So at one level, it hurt because I was away from my business, and my business I could have learned a lot more, and I could have been big. And I remember saying this to somebody once in a meeting. I said, I will be less richer in terms of bank balance because of AYBI, but I think I'll be wealthier in terms of my life balance. The people I met, the experiences I had, the exposure I had, my own understanding of the country, of the bureaucracy. We met some fabulous people uh, in the bureaucracies. We met some politicians, people, other NGOs, and that in a way, Ajit, has also shaped a direction in my own personal life where I continue being very involved with certain causes, and all that happened because of. So I gave till it hurt, but the funny thing is, I think I've got a lot more back in return than I had bargained for. But I don't know. You would have also had experiences of giving in your own way.
So Vivek, one of the things that giving probably at our age is also, is the wealth of knowledge that you have gained, right, over a period of time. And I've always felt that, that there is certain amount of information that you can share with people who are younger or people who are of your own age who are in business by themselves. Often most of us don't do it because, as you rightly said, no, time is a constraint. That's always is a constraint, and that's the most expensive thing to part with, and it hurts when you have to give time for so much of these things. But one of my biggest experiences has been that I played with AI for a very long time, and I kind of implemented in my business. I'm not an AI expert, but I know the benefits of doing that. But I've just stepped out and I've actually shared it with so many people. uh, it just builds a positive community around you. I don't know how, if you understand, people who are listening, do they understand what it means to be around people who are just positive, who want to engage? It just keeps you alive. It just keeps you going. And that's a wonderful feeling. And that's enough. That's addictive enough for you to just keep going and keep doing it. Yeah. And it hurts because it takes a lot of your time and going. So that's my whole experience as far as, when it comes to giving. Uh, but is this one of those biggest experiences that you had with AYBI, or do you have any other personal stories that you think you can share that really stands out in your journey of giving?
You know, I'm not sure a particular incident can stand out because honestly, I'm not saying this with any sense of false humility. I mean, I'm just a small element in what was meant to pass through me to whoever received it. Okay, whether it be knowledge, my time, some physical help, some resources. Um, One of the things, for example, in our company, and since I know that a lot of entrepreneurs also listen to our conversation and chats, we have a very liberal policy for housing help, education help, and medical help. Because one of the things I was very clear about is that people who work with us, if we can't create value in their life, then I have no business, going out and doing things out there in the world if the people around us, with us, are not well taken care of. And of course, we can do it only to the extent we can afford it, and we can manage. But there, Ajit, I stretch sometimes myself. So even times when the company's going through a bit of a cash flow situation, or there's a tough economic downturn or a situation, and business is all about ups and downs, that is one policy I have never cut back on, even at the cost of it sometimes hurting us. And my first impression my first not impression sorry my first thought very often would have been, no, not now, let's just do this later, this is not the time. But I said no. What this amount will mean for that person, for that family, is way more than the stretch it means for us. And we will somehow manage, I'll somehow manage it, but I shouldn't deviate from that. And in a very inexplicable way, we've all read it, heard it, even repeated it, that the universe conspires to help you when you're doing something which is good. Support and help has always come. So I
Amazing.
can only say, and the one thought, Ajit, which I'll leave you with today. I think the two people who've deeply impacted me in giving. Uh, One is my mother. You spoke about knowledge, and I mean, mom as well as anyone else can. She is one person who has selflessly, with unconditional love, given of herself and more her knowledge, and just being there for everyone, right? And the second is my wife, Rashida. And you've seen it. She lives with such a sense of abundance. And it's not about how much she has or not, it's just about the spirit and the attitude with which she lives. So, listen, I'm doubly blessed at home, right? With mother and wife. So, giving is just, in a small way, whatever one can do, one is more than happy to do.
On those brownie points that you scored, I think it's time we go to close our podcast. That's just the time that we've had. But as usual, Vivek, you've left us thinking, and I'm sure, every time you listen to these conversations, which are just 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're always wondering, and it forces you to think. And when these things happen to you, we're also going to encourage you not to just keep these thoughts and ideas to yourself. Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, and family, and start a conversation and see where it leads. And we love to hear from you too. Join the dialogue on our social media platforms. Share your questions, your learnings, and the insights you've gained from this episode. It's through these shared experiences and perspectives that we all grow and learn. So don't hesitate to reach out and contribute to this ongoing conversations. Your voice matters in shaping a more ethically driven business world. Well, that's what we have time for today. Join us next week for another enriching episode on Life.EV, where we continue our exploration into the fascinating world of exploring values in our lives. Vivek, thank you very much. As usual, lovely to have you with us every week.
Pleasure being here. Thanks, Ajit. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.